Good morning from bright sunny Nottinghamshire here on this cold winter day, covered in snow, which is just the way I like it. However, let's get to the real business. So we've discovered recently, primarily through the promotion of this YouTube channel, that something very important in actual fact. The ethnonationalist Steve Laws, who is now with the Homeland Party, led by Kenny Smith, formerly British National Party, is approximately backed by half of Reform UK supporters and voters. We discovered this obviously through thousands of comments on the channel and elsewhere. And the reason why this is the case is the interview with, the debate. Yes, if you can call it a debate. It was quite strained, I must admit, and it must have been very difficult for Steve Laws having to put up with that liberal nonsense from Laurence Fox. However, that said, as a result of that interview, that debate, it should have been an interview in actual fact, because in all honesty, Laurence Fox thought he could treat it as his own personal little monologue, and of course he was typically evasive, playing the sidewinder routine, but he was pinned down eventually. And of course Reform UK supporters have responded to that. So there's no point in these people being in Reform any longer, is there? Because we all know Reform is deep fake. Nigel Farage is a snake. He's completely sold out on immigration. And this is why we have Breno, Brexit in name only. Because Nigel Farage handed over all power to the Conservatives, the globalists, to deliver Brexit in name only and mass immigration on an unprecedented scale. And so when pressed on the subject, repeatedly, on GB News, obviously Stephen Eddington, and also the Winston Marshall show, and elsewhere, we've seen that Farage doesn't care about white people becoming a minority in Britain. Well, we do care. Most definitely we do care. And he's not in the least bit concerned either about 600,000 white Brits leaving the country every year to be replaced by 600,000 non-white immigrants. That is replacement migration. We've covered this issue repeatedly. They can call it zero net, and then they switched it back to net zero, a play on the WEF agenda. It's all drivel. And that's all Nigel Farage ever does, is play with words. But I'm not going to play with words, because I'm straight and direct talking as a nationalist. I always have been that way. And some people don't like it, and that's just too bad. I don't care. I like honesty. I like straight, direct talking. And my advice to those Reform voters out there who have been disenfranchised entirely, I would say, by the go away and sit over there in a corner routine by Nigel Farage, because you're not welcome. We don't want you. If you want to stand up for your country and your ethnicity and your culture, we don't want you. We only want the centre-right crackpots who are prepared to imitate the Liberal Democrats, it would seem. So the message is quite clear. My advice is there's no point whatsoever in these Reform supporters, approximately half of them, being with Reform. There is now a viable, credible alternative. The Homeland Party still has a way to go, but Steve Laws won that debate, quite simply, because of the public vote, and the vast majority of people just do not support Laurence Fox. So you have to ask yourselves, and I speak directly to Reform UK supporters here, if you supported Steve Laws in that debate, or that attempted monologue, then there's no point in you being in fake Reform with slippery, snaky Nigel. You need to be with real nationalists, because it's only nationalists who are going to save this country, not the centre-right, totally and utterly controlled by Zionist interests, which is the reason why they're always pandering to Israel, no matter what genocidal acts it carries out. My advice is this: put Britain and the British people first. And you can never do that in Reform UK, because at the end of the day, as we know, Nigel Farage is in league with Nick Lowles and the Red Army, the Neo-Red Army, also known as Hope Not Hate. Get on the right side of history. Get with the nationalists. Get with it today.